It's race day here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, a track that's certainly seen a fair share of electrifying races over the past few years, and there are no doubts that today's race will be just as brilliant. The Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, a track that will certainly force the drivers to push themselves. It consists of a very impressive main straight going into turn 1. It's a straight that also offers a DRS zone, so it's likely to be a hotspot for overtakes.
Here we go, guys. Qualifying results here for APPF1 Racing League for the Tier 1 drivers for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. We got Ghost is going to be starting on pole in the McLaren there. Live starting second. Orange will start third on the grid. SW in the Red Bull starting fourth. We got Rick starting fifth in the Mercedes. Swindle there starting sixth. Speed Alcoholic will start seventh. Bumblebee starting eighth. 9 for MX, 10th Jack, and then we got Tino's in 11th, Eat Meadows will start 12th, Tito Man starting 13th, Dave starting 14th, we got Braden starting 15th, and Scaparo will start 16th on the grid. We now head straight into the race session for the start of the Spanish Grand Prix. Apologies about that there, guys. Had to just step away for a second. So we're on with the start of the race. Looks like Ghost got a pretty good start as he held on to the lead there. Some pretty close gaps behind him though. His life is following him pretty well with about a 310 gap. At the moment they got SW still behind him. Rick, of course, running fourth now, position from where he started as C. And Speed Alcoholic running in fifth, trying to get past the Mercedes if he can. Let's have a look down in the midfield to see what's happening, because the two of them look like they're going to be going side by side. The McLaren now getting by up into P4, and not too bad of a start for him here. He's back up into that. Let's have a look at position changes. We're supposed to have a look at that at the start. So it looks like SW got up 1-3 for Speed Alcoholic at the moment as he's up into 4th, and definitely trying to hold on to that position as much as he can here. Orange, of course, lost about 3 positions off the start, so not going too well for him at the moment. Let's see if he can improve that getting on through. Rick there, still holding on to P5 where he started. He was off a position, lost it back to Alcoholic, of course, as he's trying to work his way through the field right about now. Looks like we got a yellow flag situation. I think that might have been already cleared up. So let's get back our tires on actually, and I'll have a look what the situation. Majority of our grid on the medium tires at the moment. One on the softs, one on the hards. But let's see how that strategy is going to work as we get into lap 2 of 33 here for the Spanish Grand Prix. So far looking pretty good. Mercedes, of course, chasing after that McLaren. Pretty close gap between the two of them. Of course, Orange in the middle of that as well. He's definitely trying to get a position of his teammate running behind of him. So both Haas drivers chasing after the Mercedes, who's trying to chasing after that McLaren. The Red Bull not too far off out in front, but of course he's in a bit of pressure trying to chase after the Ferrari of Life, who's chasing after a race. There goes there. So some extremely close gaps going through the session here. Looks like Swindle's trying to get up another position if he can against MX there. One of our Haas drivers has fallen much down the order, and that's Orange here, not having the best of starts in this race, but he's now all the way down to 15th on the grid. Quite sure he's not going to be too happy about that. Let's bring it back up on top and see what's happening with our race leaders at the moment. We got that Red Bull definitely looking to get up into second place if he can. The Ferrari going to try to hold this out as much as he can here. So let's see how the top 3 drivers are going to work through with the grid order. Looks like MX losing some time on Rick, as Rick is trying to keep himself within a second of the McLaren to have that DRS advantage on the upcoming lap. Fastest lap, of course, switching around as the Ferrari of Life here closes in on the McLaren of Ghost into turn 1. Can he get past though? I don't think he's close enough to make a move as yet, but he's doing a pretty good job of keeping up with Ghost here. So far so good for the start here of this Spanish Grand Prix. I think the drivers are doing pretty well. We got all 16 drivers still in the session. No major incidents so far. Looking down the order to see how much more closer gaps we have. I think we're kind of similar. Most of our drivers are within a second of the car in front of them, so trying to have a look on that battle out front, of course, for the lead to see if Life can possibly get ahead of Ghost. We are so evenly matched here that our gap is just staying as constant as it can be. But both McLarens, of course, running pretty high up on the order here. First and fourth at the moment. I think they're trying to get both cars onto a podium place. Speed Alcoholic, of course, has some work to do here. And a lot depends on the race strategy here. Looks like we got somebody at the back of the grid. They're having some problems. It might be Scaparo, I'm not sure. And the Red Bull of Dave, of course, coming up behind. So quite a bit way behind, though. Safety car definitely would help him at this point here. On to lap 3. Lap 4, sorry, into lap 4 now as we get on through. And again, that fastest lap, switching from driver to driver, switching from Ghost to MX, who's currently starting to gain time on the Mercedes. They're in 5th right now, so it's looking pretty good. Still keeping an eye on the Ferrari and McLaren out in front, see how close that gap is going to get. I want to switch this around to Braden here in 10th at the moment and go on board for a second, because he has a 2-10 gap towards the Mercedes in front of him. Bumblebee just in front of that as well. He's trying to take an inside move on that turn, but not close enough to the Mercedes as yet. Closing the gap right about now as we go, though. So can he get the move done on the outside? A bit squeezed as well, but he's going to push on through for this, and still not enough room for him to actually get by. He's going to have another go at it. Let's see when he does decide for that. He's still keeping that gap right up to the rear of the Mercedes as he gets on through. Might take it on the outside into the next turn or just switch it around through. Let's have a look and see how he is able to get this done. A pretty good chase between the two of them so far. Williams definitely looking to get a position up here, and looks like he might just be able to get this. He might just be keeping it for that straight into turn 1. Use the slipstream advantage and see if that's going to work for him. But let's go on the overhead cam right now and see what's going to happen. Because they're now going to go into the next lap here. Into lap 5 they go. Can the Mercedes hold up the Williams? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to side by side into turn 1. And looks like Braden might just have the advantage here as he's on the inside. Gets back on the racing line. The Mercedes, of course, going to chase him on through and hope to get back that position if he can. Out in front, our gaps are still very, very close off to each other at the moment. There we got Braden here trying to extend his gap now, already about 5/10 he's ahead. So it looks like he's doing pretty well. Orange here down in 13th on the grid. He's trying, of course, to work his way back up the grid. Not the best of starts from the Haas driver there, but he's really trying to fight his way through. Of course, down with Tino's here in front of him for 12. Let's see if he can get past the Aston Martin. Out in front, race leader and Life there. 5/10 is what the gap is between the two of them. Always a bit constant since the start of this race to this point, and they've kept it at that point. SW trying to keep within DRS range of the Ferrari. Speed Alcoholic, of course, has that DRS advantage, and he's trying to get up a position. But let's see, he needs to close the gap on the Red Bull just a bit more. And hopefully he'll be able to make the move on him there. We got Dave is out of the session. Might have retired in the pits, I believe. I'm not sure. But did it happen on track? We got a full safety car. I think just happened there. Yep, it is a full safety car. Something's happened on track with one of our drivers. Not sure if it's the same incident with Dave there, as we got some pit stops happening here as well. Let's see what the strategy is going to be right now. Let's switch tires on and have a look at what the strategy is going to be with tires as they do get into the pits. It's a 33 lap race. We're on lap 6 at the moment and getting through here. We still got the McLaren of Ghost leading the Grand Prix. Live still running 2nd. SW still running in 3rd. Speed Alcoholic up into 4th. Rick running 5th where he started. MX running 6th. Bumblebee 7th. Braden 8th. Jack 9th. Orange in 10th. He's working way back up to there because a few drivers have taken some pit stops here. And let's see how this continues on through. Doesn't look like our drivers out in front are going to take a pit stop. They've opted, of course, with a strategy there on those mediums to run a bit of a longer strategy, or a longer stint. Into this race before taking a pit stop. So I highly doubt they're going to be taking a stop here. Of course, Light, SW, and the rest behind are going to be watching the McLaren out in front. If he takes a stop, they will. If he doesn't, I don't think they're going to want to take the chance of taking a stop. Either way, it's going to be a risky play at this point in the race session. So let's see how Ghost is going to play through. At the moment, we know he's going to continue on. Does he take a pit stop on this upcoming lap here, though? Because they're about to get back into the entry of the pit lane here. Not sure if he was already past the entry when the safety car happened. I think he might have been, because he's now going to go into the pit lane. And of course, we got everyone else following him into that pit lane. He's going to get quite busy into the pit lane right now. And we got a bit of contact between the Ferrari and the McLaren here. That's with Ghost on live. That might lead into a penalty for one of them. I'm not sure. At the moment, it seems fine. No penalty awarded from the game at the moment there. Speed Alcoholic, the 2nd McLaren running. who was running fourth, has not taken a pit stop. He's now up into the lead of the race as his teammate gets back out. It was a bit too close to double stack those McLarens in the pit, so I think that's why they opted to just go pit goes first. And Speed Alcoholic might come in on the upcoming lap, or he might run a different strategy and just stay out altogether and lead this race. Bumblebee, of course, didn't pit as well. Braden did not stop. Jack didn't stop. Orange didn't stop. He backed up into fifth. Can his race strategy keep him up back up in the front of the grid though? It's going to be a tough call to see how that happens. Those Live and the rest of the grid that took the stops there, they're all onto the hard tires right now. Are they aiming to push on till the end of this Grand Prix with that? It's going to be quite an ass on those tires, but they can't pull it off. But let's see what's going to happen. Either way, at the moment, it's looking pretty good for this race. We started off with 16 drivers. We're down to 15. Only one driver out. First safety car in the race session. And we're hoping to get this race back on the way. Hopefully into lap 8. If not, it's going to be into lap 9. But let's see what's going to happen as we get into sector 3 right about now. I'll have a look following on for the Aston Martin safety car. It's looking like we're going to have to go just one more lap here with that safety car before we're able to get back racing. Alright, so we got Ghost here back up into P4 as he gets past Orange there right about now. Braden, of course, took away the lead away from Speed Alcoholic. Gaps, of course, are extending just a bit as we have them right about now. So it's a 1.9 second gap, of course, between Braden and Alcoholic out in front for the lead. Let's see how well Ghost is going to catch back up to the rest of the grid. We know the top 3 cars have not taken any pit stops in this race so far. We got Ghost, of course, running P4, 1.6 seconds behind Bumblebee. Of course, he's trying to catch up to him to get up by a position here. Rick there in 7th. 3/10 is what his gap is. It's about 2/10 right now as he pushes to get by the Haas here. Of course, 2 Haas drivers in front of him, and then he does have to catch up to Ghost, of course. So let's see how the strategy is working for him right now. A lot of change in the grid order since that safety car happened. I think that safety car is what happened with Dave there. So let's see how the rest of the race progresses on through. We're currently on lap 14 of 33. Ghost getting the fastest lap there at the moment, up into P4 and holding that position. Orange chasing after him, of course. Let's have a look at Rick here as he tries to go around the outside of the Haas into turn 1. He might just get this move done, but of course I think the Haas driver might fight it back. So you're gonna have to hold it on through just for now in P7 and hope to get that move done on a next lap or at some different point in the race session at the moment. Looks like Eat My Dust is out of the session. Something's happened to him. I think he's retired from the pits, or yeah, it does look like he's retired into the pits there. Might just be yellow flag in sector 1. Oh guys, we're still keeping an eye on the Mercedes and the Haas here. Let's get on board for a second with Rick, see how well this is going with him and MX at the moment. Gap is so close, 3/10 between the two of them. Still a bit difficult to get that overtake done. He does have Orange just in front of that as well. Orange, of course, within a second on DRS range of Ghost there. He's trying to work his angle of getting past him. Let's see if that's going to work for him. Braden out in front has gotten ahead quite well, 2.7 seconds into the lead against Speed Alcoholic. So can't say he's doing too bad. Around the outside goes the Mercedes, slips by pretty easily here and gets up into P6. Now going to chase after Orange, a bit of a gap to work with there. Those he's going to have to try and close that gap as much as he can. Tito here in 10th, chasing after the Red Bull of SW, of course. Can he get a position up? That gap is extending. Doesn't look like that's going to be happening. I'm going back up to Orange here in P5 at the moment. Chases after Ghost. Gap is, of course, half a second between the two of them. So far so good in this race. We're getting around the halfway point of the race session. We're currently on lap 15 of 33 and it has gone quite well. Started with 16 drivers, we're down to 14, sorry. So not too bad. We're down to 1 safety car in the session. Some quick yellow flags. So far so good from what we can see. Out in front, we're still looking at Braden extending his lead against Speed Alcoholic. There is 2.8 seconds. Both of them haven't taken a pit stop as yet. Neither has Bumblebee. Let's see what. Oh, there goes Bumblebee into the pits now. That's going to put Ghost behind his teammate now. How far behind is he? He's about 3 seconds behind. Let's see how much time he's going to be gaining for a lap here on him now. Okay, so still following this battle right now with Ghost and Orange. Of course, these two hoping to get back into P1, P2 when the two cars in front of them do take a pit stop. They're running on the hard tire strategy here for the, after the pit stop that they took. So let's see how that works for them. Orange, of course, still on the mediums. Did he take a stop? No, he did not. So Orange has not taken a stop as yet. along with our top 2 drivers at the moment, P1, P2, Alcoholic, and Braden. So 3 drivers in the session who have not taken a pit stop as yet. Let's see how that works for them with the strategy there. Of course, Orange, will have to take a stop in this race. They also have to take 1 mandatory stop. I think he might be pushing to go for a strategy that's going to put them onto the soft tires to go to the end of this race, which is going to be a bit of a close call, but I think he can pull it off. And that should, of course, help him to gain back a right a few positions after he does take the pit stop. Out in front, Braden and Alcoholic definitely looks like they're holding out. I think Orange as well. They're holding out for another safety car here right now and hoping that happens and just gives them a free pit stop, because they know Ghost will have to go and take a pit stop there as well to get onto the soft tires to finish off this race. As of course, that's going to be just works better for strategy, I guess, for them. Mediums can go 24 laps on Spain, so Westland must know the mediums can go 24 laps, which means Orange can run it until lap 24, then go on to the softs and finish off the session. So he has until then, along with Braden and Alcoholic out in front. So the 3 of them, I guess, they have until lap 24, or just around that 23 to 25. I see if they have to push it to 25 to hope for a safety car, and hoping that that's just gonna save them some time with a pit stop here to keep their positions as they have it. McLaren, of course, is going to be happy if this happens, because it's going to put Alcoholic and Ghost, both cars, on the podium for the race session. If it does happen, there goes Orange into the pits, so I think he's had enough on those mediums. He's going to switch it possibly to the softs here. Let's see. Looks like he switches it on to the hards. How many laps can the softs run here at Spain? I'm not sure on the numbers right about. So I haven't done much racing on F1 22, to be honest, so I'm really not sure how many laps you can run with the tires here on that. Well, thanks for the information from Wes on that. I'm not sure if he knows how much lap the soft tires can run here before giving up, but yeah, it's really not too much lap we got. Let's see, at least 15 to 16 laps or so, I guess, remaining. So I guess, yeah, a bit of a tough call still to get it onto the soft tires, and which I true did 11 laps. So 11 laps on the soft. Yeah, it's a bit too much, I guess, to push for the softs at this point. Maybe if you did push it until lap 23, I think it will be a safe point at that point to then go over to the soft tires and finish off the race session. That'll be probably a better strategy to run. Anyway, let's switch on to the midfield right about now. Let's have a look. Oh, Braden is getting into the pits right now. Alcoholic getting into the pits as well, falling on behind him. Let's see where those two come out. We got Ghost, of course, now getting past them. He is going to take over back the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix, which is where he started in this race here. So 11 laps on those soft tires, and they don't work after that. Which means you definitely need to push it until lap 24. Do a stop. You're going to be into lap 25. Getting started with them, so I think that should be fine with a strategy for that. But yeah, that's provided, of course, you can make it to lap 24 on those mediums. That does depend how hard you are pushing in a race session as well. You gotta be a bit conservative with the tires on races like this to run a strategy like that. Of course, even come to safety cars, you're not gonna take a stop just to get out in front. It does actually work, but I guess a lot goes into strategy in a race session. So it just depends how much the drivers think about it and how much they plan for what's going to happen in a race session like this. It's following on with Tino's right now. Closest gap here as he's chasing after the Haas of MX. Let's see what's going on with these two at the moment. So we're on lap 19 of 33 right about now, guys. So yeah, pretty good point in the session. Let's call it at least 70% into the race, I'll say. Looks pretty close between these two. Let's see if there's going to be a switch or not. Out in front, by the way, we got Ghost leading the race by a significant gap. It's 8.5 seconds as we got MX and Tino's fighting for a position here. Tino's has to stay in P4 at the moment. He's definitely trying to get onto a podium position here if he can. So close to it. It's only 2 tenths between them. We got a yellow flag situation in sector 1 right now. Through I think that's just after turn 2. They're getting around turn 3. Something's happened to I think one of the AlphaTauris. I'm not sure. something did happen there, but I think it's fine at the moment. So let's see as we continue on through here. Teammates, of course, are having a look on the rear wing of the Aston Martin at the moment as he chases after MX there. We got the Red Bull of SW coming behind of him. So yeah, he's in a bit of a pressure point spot here at the moment in this race. Running P4, but he has to be worried about getting past the car in front of him and a bit more worried about the cars behind of him passing him, because you got SW and Braden in the Alpine coming just behind that there as well. So they're pretty close off. Needs to be extremely careful on how he gets through the race here lap by lap, as we have the Williams. Sorry, is that the Williams or is that the Alpine? It's a Williams, sorry, not Alpine. The Williams of Braden here trying to get past these guys. As just got the fastest lap in the session as well. He goes around the outside, has to just hold it back. I think he's just trying to keep it as close as he can here. Let's see what he can do. The Red Bull trying to fight for position along with him. There goes the Williams trying to go side by side with that Red Bull. Both of them trying to get past Tino's at the same time here. So let's see how that strategy is going to work. The Williams on the inside, and he's trying to get two positions up here. But of course, the Aston Martin cuts him off. He's trying to back on the inside of the next turn. Still holds it back through, but he's up into 6th right now and holding that position. Orange following up behind him, just a bit behind. Speed Alcoholic running at 10th behind Orange at the moment. Let's see how this gap is working for these two, as it's a pretty close battle between them for P7 at the moment. Alcoholic Steam, of course, leading this race still. Gap is around 3/10. Let's switch back over to Braden here in the Williams. He's definitely still pushing for a move here to get past Tino's. Tino's, of course, wants to get onto a podium position here. He needs to get past MX for that. He's within a second of that car in front of him. Just so much pressure coming off behind from the Williams and the Red Bull. Well, Red Bull, of course, down to 6 now, but still pushing on through. Pretty close gap between him and Braden there. So he's still in this fight for that position. We got a 10th between Tino's and MX. He's trying to push for a move as much as he can. The Haas goes a bit wide. Looks like 2 cars gets ahead of him. Braden gets up into 3rd now. Tino's now running 4th again. MX all the way down to 5th right now. For a second, I think Tino's had it there in P3. I guess lost it through because Braden following on through for that position as there goes Orange now in P5. Alcoholic running 6th now, SW running 7th, MX is all the way down to 8th at the moment. Yeah, he going just a bit wide is what caused everyone else to gain their positions here, with a bit of a fight with him and Tino's there for that position. So just a lot of change around. Out in front, we can see Rick gaining about 7-10 so far from the McLaren. Got still about 10 and a half to 11 laps or so remaining in the Grand Prix. So he has enough time to do this, but can he break the gap down in time to get an overtake down against the McLaren and possibly take a win here at Spain? We'll see if that's going to happen or not. Braden, of course, running 3rd on the grid, bit away from Rick and Goes, but he scores bit under pressure from the cars behind him here as well. So let's see what he can do. Closest gap we have under a second is with SW and MX. Let's see if these two can get anything done here. Gonna go on board with the Haas driver right now as he uses the splitting advantage against the Red Bull. Definitely working quite well as he takes it around the outside here of turn 1. He gets that position up into P7. The Red Bull down into 8 now. Trying to keep an eye, see what our close gaps we got at the moment, but still about 3/10 between these two at the moment here. So with that guys back on again, yeah, so let's see what's happening here right now. So it looks like Rick is gaining a bit more time, gaining another 3:10, so it's a full second he's gained so far with the fast few laps. I'm not sure he's going to be able to gain enough time with the time that's remaining in the race session. 10 laps remaining in this race. Can he gain it and get past Ghost? It's going to be a tough call for that. Let's see what's going to happen. Still on with MX and SW here for P7. The fight is on for them. 4/10 is what the gap is. Let's get on board a bit with the Haas. See how close he's actually able to keep to that Red Bull. He's closing the gap just a bit here, but still finding it a bit difficult to get past here at the moment. He's closing that gap just a bit more, as he should be getting the next lap here with them pretty soon. Let's see if he can get anything done down the start and finish right into turn 1. Out in front, we can see Rick in the Mercedes. He's definitely gaining time off the McLaren there right now. Is there a difference in strategy with the tires from them? Let's have a look. So both running on the same type of tires there, and of course same laps done on them. The Red Bull of course trying to keep the Haas out of his slipstream advantage here. Didn't do much in terms of stopping him. He got pretty close up. 2/10 is where the gap is. That's how close it is between these two fighting for P7 at the moment. Let's see how much closer that's going to get. Orange getting in the DRS advantage zone of Tino's there. So he's looking to get up into P4 if he can. Tino's still fighting to see how close he can get to Braden, who's gotten pretty well out in front there in P3. It looks like the top three are kind of stuck where they are. Bit of a gap between all of them either way. And Braden, of course, distancing himself from the Aston Martin of Tino. So going pretty well for him. I think the closest gap we have so far is with Orange and Tino's there, now down to 4/10, and with MX and SW here. We're trying to see who's going to get a better run at getting an overtake done here pretty soon. This race is going to start to come down to a close very quickly. And there we go, Speed Alcoholic and Orange. What's happened to the two of them? It's a bit of a switch, I believe. Or an attempted switch, at least I would say. So Alcoholic getting pretty close off for Tino's here, really trying to get ahead. Orange, of course, as 10th behind that as he tries to pull on the inside. Doesn't get the move done though, as to hold where he is. Out in front goes losing time. Of course, the Rick right now down to 6.5 seconds. He's gained 1.6 seconds from when he got into position there, I believe. But let's see if he can get more time there. We got, of course, Braden holding on to his position in P3. Tino's, Alcoholic, and Orange here in a bit of a battle for P4. Of course, they're losing time to the Williams. They're currently in third, though, so neither of them looking to get onto a podium position here unless they suddenly start gaining time to Braden. See if that's going to happen at any point or not. Speed Alcoholic is what they're focused on right now. It's only a 10th between him and the Haas behind. Tino's running just out in front here, as you can see. Switch back to the overhead cam with these three. I don't want to see what we can have happen, but definitely looking might be a bit of a switch, or might just keep their positions as it is right now on lap 27 of 33. We're coming so close down to the end of this race, just under about 6 laps or so remaining to finish off the Spanish Grand Prix. Here we go with Orange, of course, 2/10 behind that McLaren, using the slipstream advantage into turn 1. Can he make a move? Doesn't look like he's close enough to pull this off as yet. He's going to let it be for now. SW, they're trying to catch up to these guys. We can see him coming behind. They're 2 seconds behind at least. So he still has some work to do here on track if he's going to try to get ahead. But we do expect the hard tires, of course, to go quite a bit. Because if the mediums are running 24, I'm quite sure the hards are going to run quite a number of laps here before they actually start to go off on the drivers. Does depend how much you're pushing on them as well. Still on with Speed Alcoholic here, still following on with the battle between here. Having a look out front, gap is down to 6.3 2 seconds between Ghost and Rick, of course, for that race lead. A safety car at this point in the session will have quite a few drivers from what we can see with the gaps that we have there. And that, of course, will change the aspect of the race quite a bit if it does happen. We got 3 drivers out of the session so far: Scaparo, 8 Medas, and Dave. As leaves us with 13 drivers to finish the Grand Prix. We might just have that happen. Let's keep an eye out with these guys here. Speed Alcoholic still holding on to 5th, Tino's in 4th, Orange in 6th respectively here, and let's see if they can switch this around at any point. It's McLaren trying to go around the outside of the Aston Martin. I don't think he's going to be able to pull this up. Can he do it in the inside of the next turn? Still side by side as the Aston Martin pulls on through. The Haas trying to get in between them, and doesn't look like he might be able to, some minor contact I think between Speed Alcoholic and Tino's, but they keep it going well so far. But they just got so close that it looked like they had contact. Haas really trying to get ahead. At least one of these drivers here. Orange not having the luck in terms of getting past here. Hasn't had the best of starts in this race, but he's doing pretty well so far. Got himself back up into P6, and he's fighting for positions here. Alcoholic is up into 4th right now. Tino's down to 5th. Is a switch with those two. Can the Haas get past either one of them? Let's see what's going to happen. As the McLaren of Speed Alcoholic holds it on through. 12 seconds now behind Braden. Has a lot of time to catch up if he wants to get up into P3. We got Rick now under pressure as Braden has gotten up and broken down the gap there towards him. It's a 5.7 second gap, but Rick and Ghost, of course, still breaking that gap down 4 laps, or just around 4 laps or so to finish off this race. So it's going to be a close call. He needs to gain at least 1 point something seconds or so, 1.4 seconds at least, 1.3 seconds per lap here. I'd say 1.5 seconds per lap because he needs a lap at least to get the overtake done against Ghost. Let's see if he can get it done or not. It's only a 10th between Braden and Rick here. Can he get a move done? Let's see what's going to happen because he's getting pretty close after the end of the session. He's broken the gap down to just about a 10, so he has the DRS advantage. He does have the ERS advantage as well. Rick, of course, without the DRS advantage from the McLaren in front of him, gap is just a bit too big. He's a bit focused on that out front, but he might start to lose some time towards Ghost if he's not able to keep the gap up. Coming under pressure over the Williams behind him right now, so let's see how that's working. As we got Braden going on the inside here, he's pushing as much as he can. Not going to wait for this get further into the race or close along to the end of the race for this to happen, to get this move done. He's now up into 2nd. Can he hold it up against a Mercedes though? Is what the question is going to be. He is running, I think, is he on the softs? Sorry, on the mediums? No, he's on the hards as well. I think they're all running on the same strategy at the moment here and hoping to keep that as he had. The Rick, of course, bit of a disadvantage for him. He might try using the slipstream advantage down the straight here to get back in position. Not sure if he's going to be able to get it though. Tries to push around the outside, not close enough to get the move done. Has a limited number of laps left to do this. Alcoholic, of course, trying to keep up with the rest of the grid. Has the advantage of Tino still chasing after him though. 310 gap. Gonna keep it out front at the moment. Braden, of course, still gaining time that Rick was gaining off of Ghost out in front, but I think it's too close after the end for them to actually get ahead and take pole position here. So of course the Williams seems to be breaking down that gap much faster than the Mercedes was. It's down to 4.7 seconds. We got just under 3 laps or so remaining for them to actually get that overtake done. Both coming under a bit of pressure. He might be just running a bit slower out in front. I think he needs to just be careful with that gap that he has, because I think they can possibly Braden gaining a lot of time, so he might be able to pull this off. He's of course still trying to get away from the Mercedes, trying to pull him out of DRS advantage, which he just did. So he's over a second behind now. Got 2 drivers with penalties. We'll see how that works out at the end of this. Just had a minor yellow flag for someone going off track. Gap down to 4.1 seconds. As we said, Braden gaining a lot of time in that Williams. I'm not sure how much pace he has down the straight, but he has some significant pace at the moment because he's keeping the Mercedes down in 3rd. Doesn't look like he's going to be getting back that position. Already losing another 3/10 as we're trying to keep an eye on how much he's gaining out in front. Let's have a look at Ghost, what's happening with him at the moment here. I think he's going to start to push just a bit more in this race. So 1 lap 20, 1 lap 23. So closing up the race in just about 2 laps time. Gap down to 4 seconds is I think it's getting a bit closer up to say Ghost might be able to keep his pole position here at the end of this. Braden, of course, doing a pretty good job though of breaking that gap down. Rick did a pretty good job of breaking down as well. So it was a pretty good chase getting that position. Orange out to the race. I'm not sure what happened to his car. I think he might have retired that car into the pits. That's down to 12 drivers remaining now to finish off the race. This team, of course, still running in the race though, chasing after that Red Bull. So it's still a 4:10 gap. Been a bit constant for the past few laps. I think we had it with them. The switches back out in front as we're on lap 32 of 23. I think it's going to be a bit close between those out in front. Braden now down to 3.4 seconds. Still not enough laps remaining for him to get the position up, but to make it close enough. Rick loses a bit of time though. It's 2.5 seconds down, but I think the top three should be able to hold their positions unless someone gets a penalty at this point. But Alcoholic having a 13-second gap will keep him down in fourth. Tino's might be losing that position because of 3-second penalty that he has. I think it is a 3-second penalty. Let's have a quick look at what the penalty situation is. 5 seconds down for the Alfa Romeo and 3 seconds for the Aston Martin. So I think he will lose just at least one position, maybe two, if MX keeps his gap close enough at this point. I think they've done a pretty good job out in front. Either way, it's 2.6 seconds between Ghost and Braden. If Ghost makes some sort of mistake at this point, he still could lose this race. As Braden is now within range of him to see that the McLaren in front. But they're going to switch it out in front with these two. See what's going to happen. It's getting pretty close. They're into the final lap already. So highly unlikely that Braden takes a win here, unless Ghost comes under so much pressure that he takes a penalty, because the gap is within 3 seconds. If he gets a 2-second penalty, that puts Braden onto the pole position for the win. Let's see how it goes. It's 2.2 going through. Rest of the grid a bit constant as they get on through with it. We'll keep it on out with the McLaren out in front. It looks like the only driver, or two drivers have kept their position from where they started. That's going to be Ghost and Bumblebee there in 8. Braden gaining 13 positions in the race, though still looking at getting driver of the day. Not sure who's holding on to fastest lap right now. It might be the Williams though. Gap now down to 2 seconds, but we're coming through the final sector on the final lap. So I think it's safe to say Ghost will actually keep the position as it is. But definitely not a bad session going on through. Qualifying was pretty good. Race session, we've only lost a few drivers in, still 12 drivers to finish off. And Ghost should be able to now get across the line. He's going to finish right where he started, takes a pole position here, went for the Spanish Grand Prix. Not a bad finish. Braden finishing in second. I think a pretty good fight from the back of the grid, getting all the way out in front. Rick in the Mercedes comes across for a third and crashes across the line as well. Fuel Alcoholic, next McLaren coming around. I think they were hoping to get both McLarens onto the podium. Still a 1-4 finish for the McLaren team, not too bad, and they're already leading the Constructors' Championship, so that's just extending it quite a bit more. Keeners crosses the line and loses about 3 positions. He's down to 7th. SW takes 5th. MX in 6th. Bumblebee takes 8th. I think Swindle might take 9, but he does have a penalty. I don't think it's 5-second penalty will push him further down than what he is right now. Tilo should be able to take 10th. Jack already across the line for 11th. And Live will be taking 12th. He started way further out in front on the grid though. Had a bit of just a disadvantage with the hard tires. I think, I'm not sure what happened, but I think his strategy in his car was able to run with it. Just having some bad luck at that point in the race going down to the end. I'm gonna wait to just have one quick look at the preliminary results before we close out the session. And of course, no surprise, Braden in the Williams takes driver of the day. And let's have a look at who has the fastest lap. I'm thinking he did get it as well. Guys running some pretty good laps down on the final portion of that race. Alright, so here we go. Preliminary results for the Spanish Grand Prix with APPF1 Tier 1 drivers. Ghost, of course, finishing on pole. We got Brayden taking a pretty good second position. Looks like the fastest lap goes to the Ferrari of Life. It's down to 12, so I'm not sure if that's going to hold. Rick there in the Mercedes takes third, top 3 so far. Speed Alcoholic finishing 4th for McLaren. We got SW in 5th, MX in 1607, Bumblebee 8th, Swindle taking 9th, Tito in 10th, Jack 11th, Life in 12th. Orange, of course, in 13. Not the best of races for him. He started farther out in front in the grid, not having the best of races, but down in 13. That's what's going to happen in the next race for him. He's won, I think it was 2 races, second and third race of the season so far. So still looking good in the Drivers' Championship. Skipar at 14, Winners currently 15, and Dave 16th on the grid. Got a few drivers now finishing the session. Either way, it was a pretty good session so far. Thank you guys for joining us. Please make sure you guys follow us on Twitch and do subscribe to us on YouTube. I'll see you guys on the next stream.